recently it's been a big talk, a big rules change, and it's going to affect you enormously.
Yeah.
Can you dive into this a little bit? Kind of what? Obviously, I saw your tweet. You weren't happy.
Yeah. Well,
elaborate on this because I'm not massively clued up. I don't
I'll
know
let
if listeners are.
Phil will be better at describing it.
So next year they've basically brought in effectively, I think it's like a local rule which will allow them to ban the use of green books.
Okay.
And this is just PGA Tour?
Well, this is, I think, agreed across main, like the main worldwide tour. So it'll be European, I think, PGA. So they're going to ban the use of green books and also within yardage books, the information that you can have on a green. So nowadays, the greens will be scanned prior and you could buy, or they don't buy, they get given a green book which will have a lot of information, the gradients, the direction of the slope, color-coded charts. So you get a lot of information, which most people use badly or don't know how to use. I don't think it's that much of an advantage or takes away people's skill that much as to what people could believe it does. A lot of people will be better without the use of green books because they don't use them that well. It's difficult. And also, it's a skill to be able to use it well, to be able to interpret that information. What is a skill? Is it just something you're physically gifted at, or can a skill be like something mental or something that you've developed through a process?
Doing a crossword's a skill, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So some people have become really skillful at using that information.
Well, going back to your point, playing the piano is a skill. You learn it, don't you? You're not born with it.
Yeah, exactly. So you've obviously got that rule, and that's fine. If that's what the governing bodies want to do, and they say you can't use green books, then that's fine. However, where I think they've screwed up is that they've then said that you can't use technology that's going to interpret condition of the green in practice. So, for example, you couldn't use an electronic level to gauge the slope or use a device that would measure the stimp of the green in a practice round, or worse, on a practice green that same week of the tournament.
Wow.
And for me, that's where I think they've screwed up.
And I'm guessing that's something you do every week.
Yeah. So, that's something that I would do with my players, and we would use technology to, for them to calibrate the slope, perceptually or even with their feet, to be able to distinguish between a shallow and medium steep slope, 1, 2, 3%, even measure green speed so that they can they'll have systems so they can adapt across different speed of greens. So, yeah, for me, they've taken it too far, because you shouldn't limit people's innovation in practice. You should be able to use whatever means that you've got to get better at, and then if they want to create whatever kind of even playing field, let people then go and play in that playing field, but let them explore things, let them be innovative in practice. And if that means using certain elements of technology, then let them do it, because there's other areas of the game where you can go on a golf course with a quad or a TrackMan.
Of course you can.
And work out how much that hole plays downhill, how much the sort of
air density.
You can use a laser in practice, can't you, as well?
Yeah.
GP, like a Bushnell or
was it the PGA or the US? I think it was the PGA Championship last year where you could use a laser in tournament play.
Yeah, they brought it into tournament play, yeah.
A rangefinder. So it's like bits of it they want technology, yet they want to strip it away from elsewhere. And for why? What's the why?
I can only assume that they're trying to take away the temptation that people could use that technology on the course and maybe make notes from it. But, if they want to do that stuff, they could do it anyway. So I'd see I've never spoke to anyone from any of those organisations to appreciate why, but I can't see any logical reason as why they want to prohibit that stuff in practice. Like, I actually would say, if they're trying to say it's about, we're trying to encourage skill or people, more skillful people to come to the forefront, I think it's skill limiting by saying you can't do certain things, because some people will be too lazy to bother trying to develop themselves using technology. Other players will look at these, marginal gains and work hard and try and become more skillful.
Yeah.
So you're allowing people to become skillful by taking advantage of the technology that's at their disposal.
I can tell you're passionate about this. This has annoyed you, hasn't it?
It really annoyed me. But one of the things that annoys me is I think in recent years the putting is an easy cop out for them. Let's change this. Let's do this. When the reality of the matter is that's not really affecting the game at the moment. A green book's not bringing people into the game. No. It's not really like a slow play issue. Whereas there are bigger issues in the game that I think the governing bodies are ignoring and choosing to pick on putting to be seen to be proactive about trying to shape the game in a positive direction. So
either you need to bung the greenkeepers a bit of dosh before the week and say, what's that level at? Or what's that? I mean, or Phil would be going out at like midnight with like a balaclava on, like running across with his digital spirit level. Does seem a bit crazy. It seems like it's something that doesn't need to change and they're just changing it for the sake of it, just to say, oh, we are making it harder or we're making it more challenging for the players.
I can see why they're doing it I can understand and appreciate what they're trying to do on course, because I think some of that feedback has come from the players where they don't want access to the green books. That's fine, but don't limit how people try and get better off the golf course.
Yeah.
I don't. And where do you go next? Like, why can someone use a quad on the course in practice, but not use a level or another device on a putting green? It doesn't make sense in that respect.
And will it, going back to that point, will it be the putting green, the designated putting green for that week?
Don't really know how it's going to pan out. I mean, hopefully they might modify that rule. I don't think it's written in stone and that's what they're going to do. But what they'll do, they'll kind of put these preliminary rules out that are subject to change, or they're going to, considering change, and sometimes they'll listen to feedback and then adapt them. So hopefully they're going to do that, because speaking to a lot of players, they think it's stupid.
Yeah.
So
crazy.